If you're anything like me, you get motivated to do something and then jump all in. Like with money, you might get motivated to save for something or pay off debt or whatever, but motivation starts to wane, shopping becomes more tempting, saving becomes less fun. How do you keep up motivation? How do you get past the slumps? That's what we're gonna get into today. So if you're struggling with money right now, 12 years ago, a man named Simon Sinek gave a TED Talk about the deeper psychology behind motivating people to do something. And it was a huge hit. Titled How Great Leaders Inspire Action, the video can be found on YouTube with over 15 million views. In it, Sinek talks about what he calls the why circle. A picture that looks like a target with the outside circle titled what, then one circle in is titled how, and the bullseye is titled why. Sinek says you can tell people what to do. You can even tell them how to do it. But if you can tell them why they should do it, that's what inspires motivation. When you're losing motivation about your financial goals, how do you get out of that rut? In Sinek's words, you start with why. Go back to what motivated you in the beginning. Think about how you felt, the stress or anxiety that pushed you to change your habits. Was it not being able to pay your bills? Not being able to save for the future? Not being able to pay $3 for a gallon of chocolate milk? Or was it a loss of a job? Maybe your why is what a coaching client told me. He reached out because he wanted to change his financial future for his daughter. He was tired of spinning his wheels when it came to his family finances. What's your why? Someone whose debt freedom journey I've followed for quite a while is actually a fellow YouTuber, Harlan D. White. When he finished paying off his $50,000 of debt in January, he mentioned that there was a time when motivation was waning, which is why I tapped him to help with this video.
I had roughly about $50,000 in debt. It was a combination of credit card debt, 401k loans, IRS debt. So basically, I had started thinking about my debt-free journey. It happened back in 2019 was initially my motivation for getting out of debt. And around that point in time, my mom had got real sick and she ended up passing away in the same month of October. We found out that she had cancer. And at that point, it kind of got me reflecting back to the fact that she lived in Florida and I lived in Illinois at that time. And so money was always a big hindrance on whether or not I would go down to visit her or she would come up to visit me. And so
Yeah.
that kind of just got me, reflecting on how bad my current financial situation actually was. And I kind of made a decision at that point that I wanted to get out of debt. 2020 was when I started. I started with my medical debt. That kind of began my debt-free journey. And I think in July was when I started my YouTube channel to pretty much start documenting my journey of getting out of debt.
How long did that take, the whole process of paying off that $50,000?
So it was 22 months. So I was able to, I think I started that in May and I ended up paying it off May of 2020, ended up paying it off January of 2022.
Another thing that you had mentioned, and I thought that this was a really great point, is that a mutual friend, Marcus, who is also a YouTuber, but he really kind of pushed you with one of his comments. That's why you started your YouTube journey, is so that you would have the accountability of people on the platform to kind of help you get through it. So kind of tell me about that.
So I would definitely say that was one of my greatest accountabilities was having a YouTube channel. Much of my channel, I was documenting my actual budget and showing where I was spending my money, as well as documenting how much I was reducing my debt each month. And so pretty much having that accountability was very helpful. But Marcus, I guess he's been following my channel over a year or so now. He was really the motivation to go ahead and get me to pay off my final remaining debt, because the outstanding debt that I had was a 401k loan. And I was pretty much justifying in my head that, the 401k loan is when I owe myself money.
Yeah.
So not really debt. But his comment was like, quit playing, go ahead and pay it off. Did just motivate me. I had the cash sitting there and went ahead and paid it off. And it definitely felt good to do so. So that accountability for me was real huge.
What would you say to anyone who's really struggling with the motivation to push through with their money right now?
Definitely goes back to having a strong why. And I'd say, and also I would recommend, having a good budget. I feel as though for me, that has been foundational to being able to progress on my budget or my debt-free journey, because I think the combination of having a budget and then tracking your spend, the budget kind of helps you lay down that plan for your money, and then tracking it you're able to look back to see whether or not you stuck to that plan or how closely you stuck to that plan. And And by tracking it, I think for me personally, that was motivating because each month I could, I'd have something to look back to see where I stood and whether or not I was pushing forward.
Like Harlan said, your why is vital to your financial journey. Figure out your why and remind yourself of it. Write it on a post-it note and stick it to your mirror. Whatever it takes, find a way to remind yourself of your why. One thing that Harlan mentioned was that he was pushed to the finish line by someone who knew that he was on his financial journey. And that's the last thing I want to recommend to you if you're struggling. Find someone who's admirable with their money management and just let them know where you're at with your finances. And most of all, where you want to go and why you want to accomplish this. Ask them to check in with you and help keep you motivated. It may very well cause you to push through paying off that last bit of debt like it did for Harlan. If you're struggling financially or even just trying to find your why, I do financial coaching as a part of this channel and I'm more than happy to listen and help. Just set up a free consultation with the link below. Now I gotta give a big thank you to Harlan for helping out with this video, so make sure you go over to his channel and check out his personal finance journey and hopefully his story motivates you. I'll put the link to his channel in the description down below. Now if you're struggling with finances and want to find ways to actually automate and simplify your money, then check out this video right here, or check out this video down here.